Hi, I'm Kelly at Book and Paper Arts, and today I am in my studio in Wales, but I have spent the last 3 weeks in France, where I was buying stock for my studio and for my online shop. I was eating my body weight in cream, and I was working on my travel journal. It's my illustrated sketchbook. Now, an illustrated journal is where you get your memories down on a page. And that can be, again, a journey, or it can be your everyday journey. Walking the dog, your commute to work, messing about in the garden. All of these things you can put into a diary with images. And I say that I've been working on my sketchbook diary, but after 3 weeks, I only have this many pages. And you know what? That is as it should be. Because I have learned at my uncertain age that what is really important in life is that you show up for it. And that sounds corny, but the truth is it's easier said than done. And I'm learning to make more of a conscious effort to be aware of the moments. Emerson said, nobody suspects the days to be gods. And the older I get, the more I know that's true. So these are the days. And frankly, I was too busy eating and listening and wondering and exploring to work on my perfect perspective and to translate my days in perfect simultaneous everything to the piece of paper. Sure, there may be people who can do this simultaneous translation, but I have boxes of these, and I teach journal arts, and I can't do it. Nor, again, do I want to even try. What I do have, however, are strategies, tools, and techniques for getting my pages down now that I'm at home. Getting my memories down on the paper. And that is what I'm going to talk about today. Ways to do that you can use either on your travels or in your day-to-day journey. If you like art journals, journal arts, old books, and old paper, please subscribe to my YouTube channel because I got a lot of them. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is drawing from other stuff. These are postcards. I'm postcard mad. So I spent my time in these wonderful places making the memories. Now all I have to do is take this and I can draw from them, put them in my book, nice and slow over a cup of coffee or what you will, and then make notes about the actual experience. So no, it's not cheating. I also have some photographs. I'll be printing up a few of those and drawing from those or actually putting them in the book itself. Next, I have maps. Maps add a lot of pop to any diary. Again, it could be of a travel, but one of my favorite maps was of where I used to take a walk every day with someone very special, and just in my neighborhood. That was a charming map that meant a lot to me. Now, these maps are, let's see, here is a city map of Dijon, where I was staying. I could use this as a reference to draw, but I think instead what I'm going to do is rough tear this and turn it into a page with arrows and notes about different places that I visited. Then I'm probably going to make a hand-drawn map of the neighborhood I was staying in and some notes there. Okay, these are found papers. Anywhere I go, I am keeping my eyes open for things that will make interesting pages later when I have time to get them in the book and kind of process them. Let's see. Ticket stubs. This is a little envelope. I had a watch repaired while I was in Dijon, and the nice man gave me my watch back in this little envelope that doesn't look that sexy, but it is in French, and it's a nice size. So I'm going to glue this in the book, and then I will be able to put things in it like my boarding pass and some other cards and things like this that I just picked up along the way. This is from dinner, from a box that I got from one of my favorite supermarkets in France, which is a chain called Picard. And Picard sells only frozen food, but only unbelievably amazing frozen food, such as these two stuffed quails. Stuffed quails, people. And I bought these and then tore the box apart to save it for this book. So that sounds crazy, but what I'm saying is look around, use your imagination about what might make a good page. This is a little bit different. These are things that, again, I'm just picking up. Brochures, flyers. You can get them from anywhere. And it's what I call free souvenirs. I'm going to do a couple of things with this. I think I'm going to rough tear this. It's a French text, so it looks really cool. And use that as a background and then draw over that. And here, I've just collected this large assortment of stuff because of found text. Okay, here it says carnet de voyage. That's the French word for a sketchbook journal, a travel diary. So I can tear that out and use that as a little bit of text. And this fragment d'une histoire dijonnaise, I can cut that out and use that as text to make a label for one of my drawings. Cour, sorry. I'm not going to do a page that has anything about weekend pour couple. I am going to just tear that out and use it as a label for something else. It means heart to heart, heart to hearts, and that will make a nice label for a different, completely having nothing to do with this drawing. And finally, I have this big old pile of paper that stuff came wrapped in. And again, they're not heavy to travel with. And so I just grab whatever I see and then sort them out when I get home and can sit down. A lot of these had pastries or baguettes in them, but I'll bet that if you look around your own supermarket or real life, you can see something not unlike this. This is the sick bag from the plane, which I can use either for found labels, found text, or for a pocket. I don't know. This I'm going to cut up for collage, and I'm going to be making a few pages of just found collage. That says L'Original, so that's going to be another really cool little found label. Love this pattern. So it's going to go into, again, some found collage, and so on. So now I have my tools. I got what I need to make some pages. I'll see you on the other side. Now here's a flip through, and I'm going to talk about some of the techniques and things that we just looked at to explain how you can enjoy your days while keeping your pages abundant and gorgeous and caught up. First, I do want to say that I make these handmade journals. with pages that are loosely bound into vintage books. And I will have a few new ones in my online shop on Monday. Here is a little bit of the found text, Carnet de voyage, which is the French word for a travel journal or notebook. Let's see. I did this from a photograph, and it is of one of the many, many crypts that I visited. This one was in Anzy-le-Duc. You will notice maybe that I draw a lot of very static, not very sexy things. But there's a really good reason for that. If you are enjoying yourself in a cafe with friends, with good food, you don't want to be drawing that. You want to be drawing things that you can not really have to engage with while you're enjoying your time. So I do a lot of water bottles and chairs and coffee cups and roofs and bread baskets. Those don't get cold while you're drawing them. Then I add some notes about what we ate, what we were talking about and doing, and that's where the fun part is. But it does get the memory down. This is just a little bit of Les Halles, which is a market in Dijon. And I haven't even tried to get it realistic, just added the colors and some squirrels. Swirls. Some found text from front of one of the brochures. Fragment d'une histoire Dijonnaise, which is certainly what that is. We went to a fantastic book festival at a chateau called the Clos de Vougeot. And I am not even going to try to draw or paint a chateau. But what I can do is take a free brochure that they were handing out and cut it up, glue it in, and then write about it. Ta-da. I do like me some pockets in my books. This one is, I'm pretty sure this had a baguette in it. This bag. So, but then I love the color, and then this craft paper on the inside. So I tore it, glued it in, and now I can add my postcards to it. That one, I can draw from these postcards, and two, I can remember the memories of things that I am not really up to drawing myself. You could just glue these in page after page, but it does that's too static, and it takes up a lot of your book. So I like these, and then you can take them out and use them as a reference. Here I took a scissors and I just cut a little slit. And now I can put things in there that are small that I don't want to glue down, because this is a ticket stub and it tells me where I was and the day and time, and I like that. So I'm going to put this in here. Another ticket stub. And now I can take these out and have more memory. Got to finish this guy. Again, very static things, coffee cups. Boy, howdy, masks definitely weren't going anywhere. I like to add a grid every few pages. This way, it's like a thumbnail. If you can't get a whole page in, or maybe you're even intimidated, anybody can do a square that big. So this is one day, one day, one day, one day. And I just made little visual notes of what happened. You have permission to be super messy and make it fun. This was in the Museum of Fine Arts in Dijon. And I want to stop and talk a little bit about painting and drawing. I am not really, really good at painting and drawing, but I do it anyway. And if you're like me, you're in the same boat, I really encourage you to draw and paint anyway. And here's a little hack that might get you started. Draw something easy. Now, this was from a 15th century statue It's the head of the Virgin, and it was probably part of a Pieta. But time and probably vandalism took their toll, and all that was left was this head. And you can see it's a very messy looking painting. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that, again, this statue was very eroded and had been chipped about. So it itself was really messy. That means I have permission to make a messy painting of a messy statue. Basically, if I go into a museum or a place where I want to paint something, I'm not going to choose something that's ornate and detailed. I'm deliberately going to pick something with easy, basic lines, not much perspective, not much portraiture. So go into your place and look for that image and embrace it. This was an exhibition of masks, and the images are really powerful and fun, but very basic. Not a lot of ornate stuff there. So that's your secret. Pick something that's easy in the first place. Again, this was just from a menu because I was waiting. I didn't want to draw when my food was there, so I picked something static that I could work on. This is a column from a chapel, a beautiful church in Turnus. And again, I drew this from a postcard because I was too busy enjoying the really amazing 9th, 10th century statues. So I got the memory, and then I could go back and reproduce the drawing. I did go to a service in this chapel, church, and I was able to very, very quickly sketch what I was looking at. And then I made notes about what kind of colors and values that I could go in and add later. So most of this was done later. This is a floor rubbing of a 16th century angel from that chapel in Turnus. And this is just a little bit of found text on a brochure for a little highlight. I'm pretty sure if you go to France, you are obligated by law to draw a croissant at some point. And this is a little bit of torn paper from sandwich wrapping from this cafe that we really enjoyed and went to many times. This is a little bit of statuary from the Archaeological Museum in Dijon, and it has a lot of 1st, 2nd, and 3rd funeral statuary. Again, I chose one that had was pretty ravaged by time and pretty much looked like this. And I had permission to make a nice, messy drawing of what I was looking at that does conjure the memory. Over here, there was some Roman lettering, and I didn't have time to add it, so I made a little note, add Roman lettering. So make little notes to yourself and come back and fill that in. This is another example of leaning into the loose style. I can't draw architecture, but I did want to draw what I was looking at when I was having coffee this day. So instead of doing a pencil or ink drawing, I actually did the drawing itself just with a brush and wet paint, which makes it super loose. I'm not going to go in and try to tighten it up. I'm just going to let that speak for itself. It does the job. This is a little bit of found text from another wrapper. And I need to add some text here. But again, you can see that I have added some notes about the color and tone. So that's going to help me fill this page in. This was in a cafe in Turnus before I went to the church. And this was a placemat, a paper placemat that after I left, they were going to throw it away. So I knew what I had to do because that's what we technically call free art supplies. Free art supplies. It was just a paper placemat. So I can glue that in, and it can be the painting that I didn't have the time or ability to draw. And then I can write my notes about our day. Still working on this layout. It's about a day I spent in Paris. And I went to the paper and ink store. And this came from a croissant bag, but it does say papier a 100%. So, and believe me, we went to a lot of paper stores that day. So I thought that was a nice little found caption. And I'm just going to add some more here about what we did. One of the things that we did was we were in this cafe with the yellow tables. So that's what this is. I do like to add photographs, but not too many. It can start to feel more like a photograph album than a carnet de voyage. But this was a picture of my friends, Rob and Valerie, and we were very happy that day. So I did have to put a couple of photos in. I printed these myself, but back in the day when I didn't have a printer, I would just take my photos to the office supply store or the big box store, and these days the supermarket, and you can print them up in different sizes and then add them to your book. Okay, over here, more free art supplies, because this was a little thing that cutlery came in at a different cafe. So it just had napkins and fork and knife in there. So I took it to make a pocket. Tore it up a little bit so it was fit the page, glued it down, and now I have a pocket here and a pocket here. So I just put in my boarding pass. Things, again, that I don't want to glue down, that I would like to just leave kind of interactive. And this is just from a free brochure. And I just put it there because it's pretty and makes the page pop. And it also, this picks up this color from a completely different cafe and day. Okay, I'm getting behind on the text. This is a list of flea markets that we went to. Planning my flea market route is very, very important and kind of fiddly. So we have a lot of lists. And they definitely remind me of one of the better parts of the trip. And this is me and Valerie at a flea market. And I'm going to be drawing pictures of some of the stuff that I bought. I know that's what's going there. I wanted to play around with the pages a little bit. So here I had some written brochure thingies that were free. And I tore them. I just rough tore them and then glued them onto the page to give it texture and depth and interest. And over it, again, just using a brush, I made a very loosey-loosey painting of the church Saint-Michel in Dijon. This is a popular image in a lot of the churches and museums in the Burgundy area, and it's of it's either the penitent or the mourner, and it's one of the old-timey monks. It's pretty powerful. I did do this from a postcard. Here again, some found images from free stuff. I will be adding some notes. This is a simple map of, this is where we were staying. You go bloop, 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 around here, and this takes you out to road trips, or around here, and this took you to the museums, and to here, and this took us to a church that I loved. So, very simple hand-drawn map. I am going to add something here, either to take up some space or fill the page, or some text. In the Church of Saint-Michel, they have the relics of a saint called Saint Elizabeth. And I got this brochure about her. And it's trifold. And rather than glue the whole thing down, I just glued down the back of it. And now I can open it and read it. Or I could read it if I had not accidentally picked it up in Italian. which is a language I don't read. But even that's a story. Over here is the little envelope from the watch repair, and inside I put some holy cards that I bought of St. Elizabeth. And a little bit of a floor rubbing. Again, these are unfinished pages. Needs to have some text or something filling the page. When I say fill the page, see, look here. I have actually just added some doodles. Very, very simple doodles with just my ink pen. And it fills up the page and adds interest to the eye. So I'll be doing something like that in these narrow spaces, probably. And this is just me posing in a crypt, which is one of my favorite things to do. Some found text. And this is just a little sack from the postcards came in when I bought them. Glued that down, and now I can use these either for references for painting or to remember beautiful pieces that I couldn't even begin to reproduce. This is a city map from the tourist office, and I've drawn some arrows here from some of the things that I really enjoyed doing, places that I went to over and over. And so I'm just going to be able to label those, maybe make a couple of notes about what I enjoyed so much. Here, we made a lot of road trips, and I did just a super, super, super simple view, but it was a beautiful view that meant a lot to me, even though it's so simple. Again, I didn't pick out the hard, busy view that I couldn't do. Pick out the simple one, the naive one. I've made some notes, and then when I sit down tonight with some tea, I can add my writing from these notes. Finally, I couldn't help myself. We did not visit here, but we did drive by it at night, and it was beautiful. So I just added the photo and put it on this background of this found pretty paper. That's it, pretty much. Now I need to go, like I said, add my text, fill in my pages, and also get going with new pages of what I'm doing in my day-to-day life now that I'm back and not on holiday. If you like journal arts and vintage paper and paper ephemera, altered books, and whatnot, please subscribe to my online newsletter. It comes out once a month, and it has free scans of vintage paper that you can use in your own work. It has a little bit of fashion, some history, collecting, books, and the occasional pep talk. You can join by looking at the text below this video, and it will take you to my site where you can sign up. I also would like to ask, if you're still here and with me, if you could let me know in the comments what kind of questions that you have about keeping an illustrated or a travel journal, because that will help me in making videos in the future tailored to what you want to know about. That's it. That's it. So I'm going to go work on some pages. And you, please, get up and go make something.